Hello everyone, it's Chris with WiFi Training, here today to talk to you about Cisco certification options if you are going to specialize in wireless or Wi-Fi. Alright, so who is WiFi Training? We are a team of IT experts that came together to provide training, development, and mentored consulting services focused on wireless security and related technologies. We are a Cisco Learning Specialized Partner. We take Cisco Learning credits and all different types of currency, and we actually have the largest team of wireless expert instructors on the planet. We do offer both Cisco and CCNP training options, and we pretty much offer the entire curriculum of Cisco courses. We're definitely focused and specialized in wireless and security, cybersecurity related subject matter. All right, so talking about the certification options that Cisco has for you to earn career certifications and specialist certifications, we all need to be familiar with this pyramid, and I'm sure most of you watching this are. And essentially, this pyramid can kind of be correlated to like college degrees, where if you go to college for just a couple years, okay, and you learn a little bit about a bunch of things, then you would get an associate's degree. And if you go a couple more years and you deep dive into those subjects, then you would get a bachelor's degree. And if you go a little bit further, you get a master's and then eventually a doctorate, and then the doctorate's kind of the top of the pyramid, right? And with college certifications. Well, in the world of Cisco, it's kind of the same way. Now, we do start off with this entry-level step. And the reason for that is we want to make sure everybody's on the same page coming into specializations. So everybody's got at least a foundational level understanding of networking in general. We'll talk about that more in a moment. But then after that, the associates can loosely correspond to like an associate's degree. Professional level certifications can loosely correspond to like a bachelor's certification. And I'm by no means saying that if you get a CCNA, you are getting an associate's degree. That's not what I'm saying. But there is comparable salaries and sometimes even better salaries for certifications compared to degrees, depending on what your role is in an enterprise and your associated experience level. All right, so we've talked about this certification pyramid. I'm going to go through this here in a moment because we want to talk about what it's like for specializing in wireless. So if we're going to specialize in wireless, again, we all have to start at that first step of the pyramid, which is Cisco Certified Entry Network Technician. And we would get that certification if we took a course called Interconnecting Network Devices Part 1. What Cisco's done is they've actually split up the CCNA route switch, and they've split it into two parts. So one covers the network fundamentals, not so much specializing on routing and switching, but just so everybody does understand the fundamentals of how networks operate, how a switch operates, what's a router, what's a switch, what's a frame, what's a packet, what's the OSI model, what's the TCP/IP model, what's a port, all that kind of fun stuff. So we learn about that, and honestly, everybody in IT should earn a CCENT. Everybody in IT should take at least ICND 1. I look at that class as like just kind of Network Essentials 101, and anybody who has a job, I don't care if it's sales, service, you're the president of a company and the company does IT, you guys should have a CCENT, okay? And if not, get the certification, at least get the knowledge, because that puts everybody on the same page, at least for understanding the mechanics and basics of how a network works, okay? After you get that foundational level concept, then we go to a CCNA specializing in wireless. So Cisco no longer has just the one track of routing and switching, right? We have all these different specializations, wireless being one of them. And that's the one we're here to talk about today, but they've got collaboration, security, cybersecurity now, they've got Internet of Things, they've got data center, cloud. There's probably a dozen or more, or around a dozen different associate level specializations and professional specializations. But the point being is that's getting your feet wet, that's learning the life cycle of a technology, and basically getting the first step out of the way that says, hey, this person has an awareness of this area of expertise, in our case being wireless. They've learned about the life cycle of that, so how to plan, deploy, and implement Cisco wireless technologies, how to troubleshoot Cisco wireless technologies, and can do so for small to medium-sized enterprises. Okay, small to medium-sized enterprises would be about 250 connected nodes. So then we want to go deeper than that. Maybe I'm passionate about wireless, or I want to be a team lead or a division lead, something like that, or I work for a Cisco partner, and I'm going to be doing a lot of installs with wireless. Well, then I would want to earn a Cisco Certified Network Professional specializing in wireless. Professional basically is You know, it's a few more courses you have to take and attend, and you're diving deeper into the subject matter. So the things I touched on at the associate level, I'm deep diving into at the professional level. And then of course the expert level is deep diving to a very, very granular level and all the things you discussed in CCNA and CCNP, and then a bunch of other things that you just have to know and learn by being in the industry and or by taking, you know, expert level boot camps, that kind of thing. So CCIE is a very, very well-known certification in the industry. Basically, the leaders of the industry have that specialization. There's about 300 certified CCIE wireless professionals or CCIE wireless experts on the planet. And that number is nowhere near what the industry is demanding today. So you can make a lot of bank really at any of these specialization levels. You can do really well as far as salary is concerned. So by earning a CCNA Wireless and having relevant experience for a CCNA level wireless specialization, you're looking between $65,000 to $75,000, somewhere around there. CCNP Wireless, somewhere between $70,000 and $120,000. And then CCIE Wireless, somewhere between $100,000 to $250,000. I know lots of people on the higher end of that scale. As you get a CCIE, you're pretty much guaranteed six figures, but I have a lot of friends that are CCNP Wireless that are also making in the six figures as well. So that's a great reason and a definite ROI for taking these courses and earning, you know, these certifications, right? Even if you don't care about the certification, getting the skill set, getting one-on-one time with an instructor, getting hands-on lab experience. You know, you can get lab and hands-on career industry experience a couple ways. Either you can work at it in the field, or you can also work at it in the labs. And yes, labs in the field is two different things, but they are both giving you hands-on experience, and both can really help you ramp up and build a skill set. You know, whichever way you go, it is valid, good experience to have, whether it's via training or in the field. Some employers prefer one over the other, absolutely, but both are valid, you know, areas of earning experience. All right, so we all start off with earning a foundational level certification with Cisco. Now, back in the day, whenever I first got certified with Cisco, I actually earned a CCNA, and it wasn't even a specialized CCNA, it was just called CCNA. They basically had 3 certifications at the time: CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE, okay? And it was all about routing and switching because that was a main business line of Cisco. And of course, since then, Cisco has grown into the infrastructure powerhouse of networking. So they have all these areas of, you know, industry that they're leading in most of them, and they have all these. They are the industry leader in certifying that you have the ability to work with these technologies, right? But we all have to start at the same place. And so the new place to start at is taking ICND1. It's a 5-day course. You pass one exam, and then you have earned a Cisco certified entry network technician certification, and it's everybody's first step into Cisco, the realm of Cisco certification. Now, I can also get my prerequisites out of the way if I take a CCNA accelerated course, which is also done in the same 5 days. We talk about these same concepts of building a simple network, establishing an internet connectivity, except we go one further. Okay, we actually complete that second ICND2 course in the same 5 days. So it's basically 10 days of training in 5 days. It's very accelerated, but it's for people who have experience with Cisco already and maybe was once certified as a CCNA and they just want to come back in. They want to get in with a short amount of time and cost as possible to get back into the realm of certifications. You know, you can do the CCNA X course, 5 days, and you'll pretty much earn, you know, 2 certifications, right? Or you'll be certified higher than the entry. Because if I earn a CCNA, I'm actually a CCNA specializing in routing and switching now. Okay, so it's not just a CCNA anymore, you're specializing in an area. Okay, in the CCENT, 1 exam, 5-day course, no matter which way you take it, you earn this badge. All right, now that you have your foundation, you've got your basic network knowledge out of the way, and everybody's on the same page that a CCENT or a CCNA gives us the required prerequisite information needed, we can start specializing in one of the other areas. And of course, we're here to talk about wireless. The first course for that, and one of my favorite courses, because it's that introductory courses that sparks so many people's careers that I know, that students that I have, they come take this course, they fall in love with wireless, and the next thing you know, they're on a path to becoming a wireless expert or a wireless engineer. And it's a great technology. Wireless became the #1 network access method in the world a couple of years ago, and there's been no better time to earn wireless specialist certifications. So WIFUND, or Wireless Fundamentals, is a 5-day course. And we talk about wireless lifecycle technologies. So what's a lifecycle technology? Well, every major enterprise solution has a lifecycle to it. And by planning for this lifecycle, basically from the time we plan and design an architecture all the way through the optimization of it, and then when the time comes, rip and replace that architecture with something new, it has a life cycle to it. And if you follow a life cycle methodology like what's called the PPDIOO model that Cisco's developed, or prepare, plan, design, implement, operate, and optimize, then you can realize that technology's maximum benefit for an enterprise. So this is what Cisco partners use whenever they're designing and deploying solutions. They follow that methodology, that PPDIOO model, or the lifecycle methodology. At the associate level, these courses are designed to give engineers a view of that life cycle. So we start off with the, how to plan and prepare for wireless, but really also what is RF in general. The basics of RF, how RF radiates through the air, some issues RF has whenever it comes into contact with objects, right? Attenuation sources. And then we talk about Wi-Fi in general, and we learn the protocols and the standards. We talk about how to secure wireless, connecting clients wireless, and then how to deploy wireless solutions at an enterprise level for small to medium-sized businesses. We also will learn, since this is a Cisco course, how to deploy the different deployment models under the Cisco Unified Access Architecture, which there's 5 different deployment models. We could deploy wireless that is cloud controlled. We could deploy it where it's autonomous, where the AP has enough intelligence to terminate wireless traffic on the wired network itself. We could deploy it in a central environment, the CUWN, or lightweight deployments where APs are managed by a central controller. Okay, and that could be hundreds or thousands now of APs managed by a central controller. We could deploy it in a flex connect model where APs are managed by a central controller, but they have enough intelligence that if they lose connectivity with that controller, they remain connected and keep clients connected to whichever resources they can reach, right? And then also, converged. Converged is new, it's a new concept. Basically, Cisco has taken wireless LAN controller functionality and embedded it into your access switches, okay, and also some other devices like a 5760. Not going to get into that here. That's not the point of this particular, presentation. This is just about certification options. But you learn about all those things in WIFUND. You get to touch all those things: converged access, flex connect. You get to do all those different types of deployment models, and you get to learn to troubleshoot these networks using traditional good old-fashioned troubleshooting techniques and troubleshooting methodologies, and also using tools like Cisco Prime Infrastructure for troubleshooting. Okay. All right, and that's the fundamentals, and it's a 5-day course. It's a very full 5-day course. There's one exam, 200-355, and then you would have earned a CCNA specializing in wireless. Now here again, I'm going to recommend this course for anybody who works with Cisco wireless products. So if you design, deploy, plan, implement, or troubleshoot Cisco wireless products, I'm going to recommend this course for you. It's a great course. It's 5 days and a lot of fun. Okay, about 50% lecture, 50% hands-on, because you got to learn those fundamentals of Wi-Fi, but great course. All right, so once you get your CCNA specializing in wireless out of the way, and you've learned the lifecycle methodology for enterprise wireless networks, then we get the opportunity, if we want, maybe we're passionate about it, we've fallen in love with it, or again, maybe we want to be a team lead for a Cisco partner, or a team lead for a large enterprise company. We might want to get a little bit deeper specialization in wireless, which would be a CCNP Wireless, or Cisco Certified Network Professional specializing in wireless. Now there's 4 courses to get this done, 18 days total of training if you take them independently, and 4 exams. Okay, we're going to go over each one of these now, and you can take them in any order, but it's not until you've taken all 4 and you've passed all 4 exams and you have a valid CCNA Wireless that you would become a CCNP specializing in wireless. Okay, so it's no easy thing to do, especially if you're trying to do this on your own, but we've got some options I'm going to talk to you about in a minute that can make this usually a lot more easier and straightforward for the majority of candidates out there. All right, so the first course, and I would actually recommend people take this as their first course, is WIDESIGN. Okay, so Designing Cisco Wireless Enterprise Networks. And this course basically is a 5-day course, and it talks about not just designing Cisco Enterprise Wireless Networks like with a Visio file or or designing the RF environment with a wireless survey utility, but really about the entire methodology of design, planning and design phases, and those first couple phases of the wireless life cycle. So we talk actually beginning with like customer meetings, the questions you need to ask customers to get the information you need to make the best determination on what solution would work best for them, what architecture, what deployment model would work best for them, and maybe identify any gotchas that would be there that would make the deployment harder than it need to be, or challenges that need to be overcome. You're basically learning how to deal with the customer and how to build a solution that would meet the customer demands and also end user experience. The point of all enterprise wireless network designs and planning and design sessions and process is to ensure a good end user experience. Okay, so that's what it's all about. Then we get into designing for the different types of Wi-Fi projects, like designing for web and email only. So if an enterprise only wants Wi-Fi for web and email purposes, which nowadays is extremely rare, by the way. Nowadays, I haven't met an enterprise in forever that doesn't want some type of multimedia, even if they didn't identify it to begin with. Usually always we're identifying some type of real-time traffic on the network, okay, in the planning stages, or usually in customer meetings we'll bring it up if they don't. But nowadays, I mean, it's been years since I've had somebody come and say, hey, we want you to plan and design a wireless network for us for web and email only. So now it at least usually involves some type of real-time traffic, and we talk about that here. Also, outdoor designs, we get into a little bit of high-density designs, and then designing for, of course, real-time traffic, for multicast, for IPv6, all that kind of fun stuff. And last but not least, we follow through with actually the site survey process. A lot of people have a misconception that the site survey is a wireless design. It's a small part of planning. I don't really put it in the design phase. I really look at that as part of the planning phase to prepare for the actual design you're going to propose to the customer. And you should never just survey like the RF environment. You always want to survey and check out switch closets and check out all the other things that are involved with the enterprise network, not just the RF footprint or the future RF footprint, AP on a stick style stuff or predictive designs, right? So great 5-day course, 1 exam, and that would be step 1 to earning a CCNP specializing in wireless. The next course, and again, these don't have to be taken in any particular order, is WIDEPLOY, or Deploying Cisco Wireless Enterprise Networks. Now this one is heavily focused on how do I use Cisco's unified access architecture and deploy it and choose the best deployment method and deploy each of those methods. So this course is really 70% labs, 30% lecture, and you go through all the different deployment models we just discussed except for cloud. Cloud is really only discussed at the associate level. At the professional level, we're doing the autonomous, we're doing the centralized lightweight, we're doing flex connect, we're doing converged, okay? And then we're also doing deployments for those real-time services and for outdoor and indoor mesh designs as well. So outdoor bridging and then mesh deployments is all discussed and covered in this 5-day course. There's 1 exam for this course, and that would be part 2 of the 4-course requirement for CCNP specializing in wireless. All right, 3rd course is Securing Cisco Wireless Enterprise Networks, or WISECURE. And of course, a big thought on everybody's mind whenever you talk about enterprise wireless solutions is security and ensuring you're using enterprise security methods. Okay, so no pre-shared keys of any kind, no legacy security methods of any kind. And even for secure guest access, we want to have a secure guest network, so no just open networks or WebAuth only. Guests can even be issued and use credentials, and that type of thing. And so we discuss all those methods, and we learn how to use Cisco's One Policy Server, which is Cisco's identity services engine, to deploy all these different wireless technologies and wireless security technologies. Okay, and this is heavily focused on wireless security. It is about 60% hands-on labs, 40% lecture. You do learn about all the standard protocols from the IEEE as well as Wi-Fi Alliance protocols as well, and just industry best practice security standards for all the different deployment models we would have discussed in the previous courses. Now, you could take this as one 5-day course and choose one exam, or we have another option for you in a moment I'm going to talk to you about, which is taking some of these courses at the same time, getting them knocked out with a little bit faster. We'll get to that in just a moment. All right, and the last and final course is WITSHOOT. Now, actually, I would recommend, no matter how you take the other courses, that WITSHOOT be last, okay? And really, because it's gonna talk to you about troubleshooting and take you through troubleshooting everything you've learned in the previous courses, okay? So not just troubleshooting client issues, but troubleshooting client roaming issues, troubleshooting AP and controller join issues, troubleshooting mobility issues between controllers, between APs, all that kind of fun stuff, and troubleshooting methodologies in the first place. It's basically like a mini CCIE course. It's 3 days of troubleshooting, and it's really 80% labs and maybe 20% lecture. Very hands-on. You're in labs within the first 60 minutes in our course, the way we run it. It's 3 days. It's that one exam we showed you earlier. Great course. And here's the thing. If you don't care about Cisco certification options, that's completely fine. This is one of those courses, if you are responsible for day 2 support of Cisco wireless networks, I recommend you take this course. 3-day course, and you're going to be a much better problem solver and troubleshooter whenever it comes to enterprise wireless at the end of this. We guarantee that. All right, so now I want to tell you about some options you have. What we've just discussed is 18 days of training, 4 weeks time away from work, and I recommend that. Okay, it's already accelerated to begin with. If you are new to wireless, that's my recommendation. Okay, you want as much time with the instructor and with the lab equipment as possible. If you're new to wireless, you want to take as much time as you can, as your budget allows and time off allows, to get that course done. But if you have experience with wireless, or maybe you don't have as large of a budget, then we have an option for you, and that is a boot camp option. We do the entire CCNP Wireless program in 11 days. We break it up into 2 weeks so that you don't have to take course in back-to-back weeks. So if you're only allowed to be off 1 week at a time for training, then you can come and take week 1, and then later on take week 2. Or you could take week 2 first and then come back and take week 1. It gives you flexibility. It saves you 2 weeks of being gone from work almost, and then it will also save you money. It's cheaper than taking all 4 courses independently. But here's the fun part. You actually get all 4 official programs from Cisco as part of this. So we're not cutting any corners. You get all 4 courses. You'll still have to take all 4 exams, of course, and you're going to get lab time like you would if you were taking them independently, but it's just we've broken it up into 2 weeks instead of 4. So we do a little bit longer days. Week 1 is 6 days, so we go Monday through Saturday. We cover WIDESIGN and WISECURE in that 6 days. Now, anytime we teach WISECURE, and I should have mentioned this earlier, we also do a bonus 4-hour wireless penetration testing course. It's a wireless pen testing course. Nobody else offers that. That is a 100% original course that we wrote. We do it as part of any wireless security. So if you take the CWSP course with us or the Cisco WISECURE course with us, we're going to do that 4-hour wireless penetration testing course with you. That's an exclusive. So in 6 days, we cover WIDESIGN and WISECURE, and then the next week, 5 days, we cover WIDEPLOY and WITSHOOT, okay? And again, you don't have to take each week in order. You can come and take all 11 days at once. But for the people who can't be off 11 days straight, this gives you the ability to take 2 weeks out of the year, or however quick you want to get it done, 2 weeks to get this entire CCNP Wireless program knocked out, okay? You'll be working with awarded Cisco expert instructors. Everybody that teaches the CCNP Wireless courses for us is also a CCIE Wireless. All right, so why train with us? First of all, wireless is our main area of specialization. We do specialize in security, cybersecurity as well, and we teach other Cisco courses, of course. We've got great instructors. You will never have a bad instructor with us. We guarantee it. To be a Wi-Fi training instructor and to work with us, you have to have 10 years of field experience along with the certification. So we make sure no matter which course you take, you're going to get a great instructor. If you take a CCNP Wireless course from us, you're going to be working with the CCIE Wireless to do that. If you take any professional level course with us, you're going to be working with an expert to teach that course. We have our own data center specifically designed for these courses. We call it the wireless range. It is the official lab environment, but we've also added in a lot of our own tools and a lot of our vendor partner tools that you won't find at any other company. We also come with additional lab tokens so you can practice what you've learned during the week even after the class. If you want to learn more about us, come to wifitraining.com. You can give us a call at 844-99-802-11 and Twitter, wifitraining.com, or on facebook.com/wifitraining. We look forward to seeing you in class. I hope you enjoy.